Okay, so uh, there is a brand new build of Summoner's Nexus. It actually came out this morning, but I have been occupied basically the entire day and have not been able to take a look and do the feedback for it. So I actually need to apologize for the delay and the extended amount of time that it took, but ready now, able to start going through it and just see what exactly we're working with. Okay, very first thing, there's some lag opening the app. Is that let's let's see that again. Right. Okay, maybe that was just because I was no, it's freezing. It's freezing. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna note that down. Literally 1 minute in. Um, lag and freezing when opening the app. Let's put that down. Okay. And opening the app. Okay. Alright, so let's take it from the bottom. Now, the very first thing, easiest thing I think to do is to start by testing some of the more cosmetic functions and some of the more cosmetic based changes that have been integrated. Yo, Sluxus, what's good? I literally just got off the phone with you. I've been sitting on a build from below all day. I've been too busy to tackle it, so I said, you know what, before I go to bed, I absolutely have to because we are burning development time by not being up to date, by not being as quick as we can with the builds and the feedback. So I'm going to log in on my second phone, run a quick set. Okay, so you know what's crazy? I just got an email from Unity DevOps. I'll check on that in a second. That makes me feel special to be important enough to keep you from Nexus. I honestly, it was important to me to get through all of that stuff that we worked on today, because I wanted us. The whole idea behind that project is to move as quickly as possible. So I didn't want there to be any delays. Now, what am I testing again? I actually got distracted. I think I'm testing Centaur Sage and its ability to. I can't hear my sound effects. That's because the volume on them is down. Still kind of low. Still kind of low. Huh? Why can't I can't get this? Ah, okay. I was just pushing the wrong thing. Cool. Um, let's get you. Let's get you. And let's get you just in case, I guess. Actually, no, neither of those runes would be helpful in the situation, so on my opponent's side, let's just put one rune down. Right? We end on that front. Now, what we are testing in this game is... I'll just have the revisions up. We are testing on my opponent's screen, the card placed by Second Wind just appeared instead of having the correct visual cue of, you know, the process of going through it. So we will go tutelage first and foremost. The game already, I don't know if it's just me, maybe it's just a placebo effect. One of the notes that I left for them was that we needed to optimize it, make things faster, make things snappier. Oh, I love the new. Wait, what? Right, we're in movement phase 1, of course. Select a card to place a voice counter on. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's close this. Alright. My opponent has the option to respond. I'm going to respond with an Incinerate. Please select the card. Oh, no, I'm loving this. I'm loving every little bit of this. Right? We'll choose Solenis as a target for the effect. And at this stage, Second Wind is now activatable. So we will activate Second Wind as part of this chain. So many things are already working perfectly. So many things are already working exactly the way that they should. And my opponent got the right animation. Alright, beautiful. So we take this off the chopping block. Centaur Sage is now working perfectly. Alright, no more issues with Centaur Sage. We can move on to the next thing. One of those things, actually, was Silenus himself. If I'm not mistaken, there was a note about Silenus. Oh wow, there's 7 notes about Silenus. Okay, so, right, the VFX. We need to do a test. Okay, we can actually play through this. Turn. Do I have Reyes in my hand in the other deck? No, I don't. Okay, so what does Hibernation do again? I don't think it's useful in this situation. Yeah, I don't think Hibernation is useful in this situation. So we remove all forest counters. So when Silenus' effect is active, he's got that green orb on him. He should have it for the duration of the turn. Same thing with Minos. Same thing with Centaur Sage. So the thing to test out now is this. We have Minos on the field. We need to see whether or not Reyes has a similar or a different hue to what these guys do. We can play Freeze. My opponent can play Exorcism, and my opponent can play Freeze, and we can play Forest Wall to prevent ourselves from dying. Right? So that's our setup. We see how this goes. Also, it's nice actually listening to the music from the game while streaming it. I actually forgot what I was listening to for a second, and I like the way it sounds as you play through. Oh, right, I forgot to end the phases. Right? Think you want to play out a full contest today? I'm up for it, absolutely. I'll be honest, bro, it feels so smooth. Let's center stage in Forest Guardian now so we don't forget. Our opponent won't respond with anything. Don't chain. And we don't activate freeze here. So Forest Guardian activates. Okay. Let's go freeze. Please select a card. And so now all of these cards have messages at the top that ask you to specify exactly what you want to do, which I am loving. We can freeze Silenus. That should generate a counter, which we will put on Sage. We can Exorcism in response to freeze Silenus. That way nothing happens to him. And we will place a forest counter on you. Do not chain. So there's VFX now that allow you to know for certain which cards are using their effects. It makes it easier to track. But honestly, in hindsight, and I hope I'm not being silly here, hindsight being what it is, I don't know how much I agree with this choice. It's gonna be so frustrating if I end up removing it, because I know that these guys work hard to make it work, and it gets flattened after the battle, just like Reyes is used to. That's not good. Iron Will. So Luxus, let me ask you a question, right? Because the reason why you know what? I think I know what I want to do. I want to change the VFX to a green border. The VFX to a green border. Let's remove all forest counters. We still don't have Reyes in hand. So I'm not going to comment on the flattening effect. I'm not going to comment on that right now. Still no Reyes. Jeez. Is Reyes actually in my opponent's deck? Let's check. Yes, she is. She's just not coming out. Hold on. Phoenix. Huh. End. We'll just let this turn go by. We won't do anything. Because I just want to check to make sure that the colors for Selenis' VFX and Reyes' VFX aren't the same. As long as we can make sure that the colors aren't the same, then that means that item is good to go. And a separate item will be added saying to use a green border. Use a green border for Minos and Centaur Sage's effects. Right? Because that twinkling flash just isn't great. Now I really hope I don't draw Mraiga in my in the AI in my opponent's hand. Right? Because if I do, I think okay, so I think that you draw cards in order of how they appear over here. The cards that I drew are 1, 2, 3, and the cards in my deck list appear in the order 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, this is a problem. Right? So that means I drew one. Oh, right. I opened with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, what? What's happened here? Oh, okay. It thought I wanted to play this, but I left it. Okay. Yeah, no. The deck is... It's telling you what you're going to draw, which should not be the case, right? It's telling you what you're going to draw from the resource deck in advance, which is a problem. Which I'm glad I caught that, because some people you might not notice that if you're not paying attention. The deck list feature is showing you the cards in the order that you will draw them, which should not be the case, since cards should be drawn from the RD at random, right? Because in both my hand and my opponent's hand, I drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order, and my opponent had the same thing happen to them, right? This is the declaration phase. They drew the cards in the exact order that they appeared in the deck list. Massive problem. Let's make sure that that gets noted down. Speed through all these phases. Quickly. That attack is forced, minus 50 to my opponent's life points. Honestly, love the way that this it just sails through everything, right? I don't have to be worried about, like, okay, we're crashing, we've got bugs, we got this and that. I gotta go get my dog a bath, but just DM me the APK when you're ready to throw hands. Perfect, sounds good. Actually, you know what? We might... It depends. It depends on how long it takes to actually get through all of the individual testing. Yeah, that was the next card in my deck list. It is absolutely following the order of what's up there. Okay, right, so now I can test out Reyes. Let's put this down here and that down there. And Reyes and Selenis should have different colors for their VFX. That's the only thing that should really be that should really be a factor here. So if I activate Tutelage on you and I activate Venom Pulse on you, we should get 2 different shades of green, right? We should see 2 different shades of green in effect. Okay, they are different. They are different. They are different. One is a pure, like, bold green, and the other is more of like a sickly green. Very similar though. Very similar, I will say. I guess for the time being we can leave that. That's not so bad. What we'll probably be looking to change the VFX for one of these cards at some point, but for now, yeah, this is what I had asked for. So let's take that off the chopping block. Does that mean that Selenis is fixed? Does that mean that there's no other problems with Selenis? Let's see here. Selenis did not place a counter at the activation of Forest Wall. Okay, let's test Forest Wall out. Alright, let's test out Forest Wall. See how well it's working. See if it's fortifying cards instead of just protecting them. And see if it protects Selenis, or see if it triggers the activation of Selenis' effect. Now, for this test, I will need 1, I will need 2 and 3, I will need 4, and I will need 5. And that should be enough for this test. In fact, I don't even think I needed Selenis for this, but oh well. End and end on both sides. Activate tutelage. My opponent does not activate leap. Do not chain anything. But yeah, no, it's a lot. It's just feeling a lot faster. It's a lot snappier. It's a lot more responsive. Activate Forest Guard Startup. You can put a counter on you. A counter automatically gets placed. Beautiful. We don't need Danger Beast here, so we're not going to activate it. Now, what should happen here is this. He attacks into me. Right? Because this says, when a force counter, remove a force counter from it instead. So it would be destroyed here. Remove the counter. We don't get destroyed by the battle. Good. Good. That is literally perfect. That is literally perfect. The only thing is... Oh! Wait, what? Encore? What does Encore require? Encore only requires 1 force counter, which I do have. Lovely. But it would be pointless. Right? I can Encore the startup. Remove the counter from him. We can get ourselves 2 more counters, but then that doesn't really amount to anything. Yeah. Okay, so there was no lag around the use of Forest Wall, so that is fixed. The card in question still took the damage, which is great. The only problem was that Selenis did not place a counter with tutelage. Now, let's test that again. And specifically try and get Selenis to generate a counter, because that was only my 2nd rune generation. Right? The first time I did it, no counter was generated, I don't believe. So let's see, in a situation where Selenis is about to blow himself up. Will Forest Wall... Oh, no. I made a mistake. I need to have another card on the field. Will Forest Wall trigger tutelage and allow Selenis to place a forest counter? Right? In that last battle, it should have done. So I'm actually going to time code that. That was probably about 16. 16. Wall did not place a counter after activating... Okay, now what am I doing? We've got you, we've got you, we'll get you, and we'll get you. End. Let me end over here as well. Okay, now. End. Wave start rolls around. We tutelage instantly. Don't chain anything. Okay, tutelage is active. We have the VFX for it. It's beautiful. You love to see it. Forest Guard Startup activates. Forest Guard Startup successfully placing a counter on Selenis. Selenis placing a counter on Minos. Minos wanting to Forest Guardian here. And if he did, he would be boosted up to 250, which is great. Love that for him. Alright. Don't chain. Battle phase 2 rolls around. Yeah, we may as well do this so that it stops asking us. Boost it to 250. Yes, we declare an attack. on an empty board. How noble, how difficult to achieve. The attack gets through. Destroy Selenis. Forest Wall protects. Now, there's currently one counter on Minos. It should go up to 2 here. No, it's not working. It's not working. Okay, got it. And that was at 20. Okay, so Forest Wall isn't perfect yet. I mean, it's very close. It's just not placing forest counters for whatever reason. God, there's so many things to go through. It looks like, from what I've seen, all of the effect windows have their text. I don't feel like I need to check that one by one. Very happy with what I've seen on that front so far. What we really need to look at is Wandering Gaze. Right? What we really need to look at is Wandering Gaze. And the issue where you can't interact with the game board after minimizing an effect window. So, let's create a build that has Wandering Gaze in the opening hand. Cool, we've got it. We will attempt to use an effect on our opponent. We will Wandering Gaze and see if it leads to the desync issue. Right? So, let's play it out like an actual turn. If I'm playing Forest Guards, I would summon you, and I would summon you for turn 1. I would Forest Wall, I would start up, and I would Incinerate. And that's this side done. Now, over here, if I'm being hyper aggressive as a Wandering subset player, summon those 3 cards. Put you on the field, put you on the field, and I think I would leave it at that. Okay, so first things first, we end and activate Tutelage, activate Monkey King, activate Danger Beast. Danger Beast? Nah, I wouldn't Danger Beast here. I wouldn't Danger Beast. Activate Dragon Dance. And I wouldn't chain. Now, because I know... Actually, nah, never mind. Maybe I would have leaped. Maybe the only thing I would have done differently is leap with Tuertion. That way the battle goes through faster. And I can sort of do more of what I'm hoping to do. Okay, so we would Incinerate on to Tuertion. I've actually forgotten what I'm supposed to be testing. Right, we're supposed to be testing Wandering Gaze. So, I have attempted to burn Tuertion. Please select a new target for this effect. Can I close this? Yes, I can. That is working properly now. So, if I select a new target for the effect and I select Ryu as the new target for the effect. Beautiful. Okay, a forest counter goes on Minos. Sure. And let's say I, in response to that, choose to Forest Guard Startup. I'm setting up for the turn. Put a counter over here. Another counter would then be placed onto Minos because we know that Minos is our main guy at present, right? We don't Danger Beast. Right? We don't Danger Beast. We let that happen. Beautiful. Nothing should have happened there because he... Yes! Yes! Perfect. It worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. Okay. 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 I'm so happy. Yep. 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 We will not Danger Beast here. We will not Barrier here. Movement phase 2 comes around. We will Encore. We will remove a force counter over here. and we will place Incinerate back in our casting zone. My opponent will not respond. Then I will not activate this over here. I activate Encore. Beautiful. Battle Phase 2 rolls around. I'm not going to activate Forest Guardian. My opponent would not activate Zodiac Barrier, actually. Attack with Tuition. I would use the effect of Forest Labyrinth to prevent that from taking place, removing a counter from Entity. Right? First battle does not connect. Don't need to Forest Wall here because I am protected. The second battle comes around. My opponent attacks. This time I do in fact Forest Wall, so that I do not die. Do not chain. Beautiful. And last but not least, it then rolls around to me as the attacker. I am not going to attack because I would die if I did. The wave ends. I can Incinerate, and this time choose my opponent's Wukong, because they will not be getting that back if it dies. My opponent never got the chance to use Zodiac Barrier because I never attacked them. There was no need to use Zodiac Barrier. It goes to the graveyard. We will... Selenis is going to die anyway. We will destroy Selenis in the end phase. And not a single bug was found. Not a single bug was found. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. Oh my goodness. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Yo, Grim, how you doing, bro? I know it's late. There was a Nexus build. I had to test it. I had to do the needful. Isn't Mage's Chest gonna slow down Nexus production? I don't think it will. Bilal seems confident that it won't. He is currently doing more projects with us than he has in the past, and I think how Bilal functions, I could be wrong. I believe he has a full-on team with him. I don't know the size of the team is the thing. And so up until now, only like some elements of the team have been working on our stuff, but I think he's gonna pull together the whole team to work on exclusively TGN projects. But yeah, so that's that. But no, that was so smooth. That was so smooth. Not a single thing went wrong there. Okay. Oh, by the way, I should check this. This is an easy thing to check. Yep, that was fixed. The text is no longer doubled. Let's exit. There's no point in playing this one through. That was such a good. It just felt good, right? That felt like a good game. Okay, let's see here. The game wasn't pausing between attacks like crazy, right? There's obviously the time that the app needs to process, but it's not insane. Is you not tired? I am exhausted, my friend. I am exhausted. But how can I sleep when there's work to be done? Now, in truth, right? Because a lot of the issues in this build, or rather in the last build, came from Wandering Gaze. I'll keep it a buck. I will keep it a buck. With Wandering Gaze being fixed, I can't imagine a lot of these errors still existing. Like, for example, Entity was just immortal in the last build for some reason. He could not die. He just refused to cease his existence. So if I summon Entity to attack my opponent's defense zone, and let's say I give him every possible advantage. Let's say I give him every possible advantage he could possibly have by myself as a player. And then I put Sage in for defense. Let's say I'm switching it up. Let's say I'm changing up the stratagem, as it were. We are going to buff him up as much as physically possible. And then I just want him to hit a guy. I just want him to hit a guy once, right? My opponent summons the Wandering Ryu, right? We're not going to Kirin, so Ryu is a sitting duck. We will Tutelage. We still won't Kirin, and we will Danger Beast. We still do not Kirin. Alright, so with that being done, our attack jumps to 300. Tutelage is now active. And let's see how big we can make Entity. If my opponent had runes, he could be at a maximum of 450 right now. I would activate Forest Guard Startup onto him, place a counter on Entity, have Selenis generate a second counter for Entity, activate Incinerate onto my opponent's Ryu, nerf you by 50, place another counter on you, don't chain just yet, Forest Guard Startup activates, Battle Phase 1 comes around, nothing really happens. However, at this stage, I can safely Forest Woodland my Entity, increase his attack by 50 for each forest counter he has, and then remove... That is sick. I didn't realize it would resolve that way. Second Wind could also be used here if I wanted to, which is crazy. So he's actually... That's a big guy. That's a big guy. That is a big guy. He is now. He's going to go back down to 150 at the end of this turn. But Forest Guards don't play when it comes to their attack power. Like, you would think that because it's a control-focused deck, you would think that they would be scrubs when it comes to attack power, but no. Right? No. Please don't freeze. Please tell me... Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Okay. We're looking good. We're looking good. Now, let's try and see him destroyed. He should go down to 150. He did. I didn't even have to say nothing. I didn't even have to say too much. Right there. I want to see him dead. So let's summon cards to make that happen. And let's make it an even tie. Right? End and end. Right? So, Entity will be forced to swing in this situation. And when he does so, he will die. Because death is certain in this battle. There's no boost that he can get off of Danger Beast, and there's nothing to Encore to get him more runes. So we're just forced to attack. I will attack Boss Guardian first. Take him out. Easy. So we're reading properly on both screens. I forgot about Iron Will. My opponent draws a card, as they do. And then he swings again into Mokus. He's got no choice, and we both die. No. What happened? Why is Entity still alive? Oh no. Why is Entity still alive? What about all of that could have protected him? Right? Was that not one of the things that they ticked as being done? No, they ticked it as being done. Entity not being destroyed. I'm going to take off the Wandering Gaze point. So that means Entity not dying had nothing to do with desync. Entity just refuses to stop existing. Right? Let's time code that. That is about 33 minutes in. Entity does not die when killed. Which, funny that. Okay, what else do we have to look at here? Damn, it's still kind of a long list. Alright, let's get to stepping. I got to work, so I'm going to leave you to it. Good luck on the deving, and I look forward to when I can help out. Also, select some will be free. Hey, you love to see it. I will catch you guys. I'll catch you later, Grim. Take care. Bless. Right, need to focus up. I need to lock in. Thanks, Saul. What am I actually doing? Right, I need to find a new point to test. My opponent used the Wandering Hui to boost their attack battle stat, but I negated the attack with Forest Labyrinth. The card Hui boosted still should have been destroyed. Okay, let's start over. This build is beautiful, if not for those one or two things. And you know what's funny? It died on my opponent's screen. Died on my opponent's screen. I'm gonna note that down for them. Okay, so we test Forest Labyrinth versus the Wandering Hui. Now, how that interaction is supposed to work is Hui can boost a card up when it's about to engage in a battle. And Labyrinth says, hey, cancel that battle. Sorry, it's not happening. But Hui says, if I've done my boost, you finna die, right? Like, you have to die. And so we need to test to see if that interaction is working the way that it should, right? If you boost for the attack, but the attack gets negated, you should still get destroyed, right? Okay, all right. Let's get into it. First things first. What do I need to do? I need to summon you for Labyrinth. And we'll make you be the card that gets attacked, and we can summon you just because I like the way you look sometimes. Put you over there. That's enough to test it, I think. And then we put Hui here. We put a rank 2 over here. And just like that, I think we've got the perfect setup. End. Okay, so the board is set. We're ready to go. End on both players' screens. We will tutelage because it's what we like to do here. We do not leap. We don't force Guardian yet. Well, we don't force Guardian at all this turn, actually. We can Forest Guard Startup, place a counter on Minos. Selenis can place a counter on Entity. And Entity can Danger Beast here so that we're going to tie. Don't chain. Battle Phase 1 rolls around. Guardian should not activate. Now, this is actually an interesting interaction because what should happen is I attack with... he attacks with Tuertion. I force Labyrinth. Removing a counter from him. Now, my opponent chooses to Wild Roar. Let's say they make a mistake, or let's say that one thing happened before the other, right? He Wild Roars to boost up his attack. Force Labyrinth negates said attack. Wild Roar should still destroy the Tuertion. It didn't. It didn't destroy it. Okay, so 38 minutes in. Wild Roar did not. It's still not working. That interaction is still failing. 38. Wild Roar interaction still failing. Remove all counters. Okay, so where is that? Yep, that's not done. I think that was caused by desync. I think that was also caused by desync. Yeah, I think I'm going to just... anything on here that is clearly desync, I'm not going to test because that's impossible to replicate. And I'm not too stressed on that right now. But things that aren't desync related, that are replicatable, I have to check them. Okay, so if I run out of time, the game is supposed to choose the... if I run out of time at the end of my turn, on a turn where I use tutelage, the game should decide for me at random which effect gets used. So, let's say I activate tutelage here. And I guess, yeah, we just leave that open so that I run out of time at this stage. We just have to wait for the time to pass. Now, okay, so the game isn't able to decide at random where the counters go. Switch into the Nexus. That's fixed. Okay. Alright, so we just have to wait the additional 40 seconds to see if this very, very niche interaction works, or rather doesn't work the way that it's intended to. But no, this is very clearly almost done. This is very clearly almost done. It's just troubleshooting, 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 troubleshooting. Okay, 1 second left. There we go. My effect timer for the turn is done. Which means that at the end of the turn, the game should randomly decide whether or not Selenis lives or dies on the basis of the counters that it's put in play. On the basis of the two options given for the tutelage effect. Both die. I'm assuming that that's correct. I wasn't actually paying attention. How much attack did I have? I was not paying enough attention. I don't know if we both should have died there. But it's tied to the issue with Hui anyway, so I don't like documenting things that follow from an error, because it's like, okay, if you fix the error that led us to this point, you're gonna fix this as well, so there's no point in well, sometimes no, actually. Sometimes you will find a new thing. No, it's not. It's not deciding at random. So no, it's not deciding at random because I'm out of time, and now it's just allowing me to stay here infinitely, right? I could just sit here forever until my opponent quits, and use that as a way to sort of cheese the game, which sucks. So let's put that down at 42. Selenis's menus are not choosing automatically when time runs out, which allows for infinite waiting. Okay, alright, so we've tested. Damn, we've only got 3 more effects to test. Beautiful. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's blow this popsicle stand. Get rid of this. We need to check in on Ryu, but first, I think there was a video where the app just glitched for whatever reason. I came over here, and things just weren't working the way that they were supposed to. Sorry, you're gonna hear the... Actually, I can mute it. Right? I pushed the button. Okay, yeah, it's not happening anymore. Alright, it's not happening anymore, which is good. Alright, I pushed this button and it took me to the wrong screen in the old build, but that has been fixed. No explanation for that. I think it was just a weird kink of that build. Up next, the Freeze Rune on Ryu combined with Dragon Dance. So, I was about to change decks, but I realized that my opponent could just play the deck that I'm trying to see. But I do think it actually goes faster if I just do this myself. Tutorial. I need in my hand Freeze, which this deck does not have in hand. This deck does, and Ryu, perfect. Okay. Okay. Now, the first thing that I did was, so I used Dragon Dance and Freeze on Ryu simultaneously. Let me double check the order that I did it in. Alright. So I Dragon Danced. No, I activated Freeze, then I activated Dragon Dance. So, I should activate Freeze here. Oh, and on my opponent's screen. So, first things first. Freeze onto Ryu. I love it. Please select a card to discard from your hand. We Dragon Dance. And it should be physically impossible for him to be frozen. Right? Freeze resolves. And nothing happens because he's cleansed. He's immune. Right? Beautiful. That has been fixed. So the only other thing to do is to test Ryu's switchability. You have returned. Love to see it. Love to see it. You know what? Let's run a set. Let's run a set. No, why can't I speak? Oh right, because I'm extremely tired. That makes sense. No, we actually have to start this over, or else it'll take much longer. We go up. Copy. Tutorial. Ryu in the Nexus here, and Tuition over here. And let's do Ryu in the Nexus here. And is Huey a support type? Yes, he is. And Huey over here. Let's do a fun little test. Let's do a fun little exercise, shall we? We'll run the exact same ability at the exact same time. Cancel. Cancel. So, movement phase 1 rolls around. I activate switch. He says, "You're not leaving me out." I also activate switch. So both Ryus jump out of the Nexus, replacing themselves with their counterparts, effectively. Right? Now both Ryus are on the offensive, ready to attack. I don't know why both of the Ryus decided to summon themselves in the Nexus in the first place. And did they break the game? They broke the game. Okay, cool. Switch broke the game. Well, let's see if these cards go to the graveyard like they're supposed to. Right? Tuition should go. Huey should stay. Beautiful. Okay, so, fixed one issue. Completely different issue. When Switch is used back to back, the game freezes. Well, the game doesn't even freeze because the turn flow is still progressing. But for both players, like on both screens, the two Ryus just stuck. Are just stuck. Right? And so I again echo that sentiment that Switch is the most difficult effect in the game to flip in code. The time code is 49. Actually, let's call it 48. Double switch led to both Ryus being stuck in place on the board, right? Because I'm not tripping, right? We had movement phase 1. Huey and Tuition moved up one space. They switched. Movement phase 2 should have taken them the rest of the way. Then battle phase 2 should have sealed the deal effectively, as it were, right? So yeah, let's see. That is everything. That is everything. And to be honest, Seluxus, I hate to be annoying because I know I just sent you the build, but I think what I'm feeling to do, I'm so exhausted. I think I'm feeling to just compile the notes that I've put together from this testing session, and then do like a gameplay session later on. Because if we do games and there are issues, I'll have to document each one, and that will, I don't have the energy, I don't have the strength at present, unfortunately. So maybe let's run a fade at the next build instead of at this one, right? Ryu doing exactly what he should do. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Quit. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Okay, with that being said, short gameplay testing stream because a lot of things just work the way that they should, and the things that don't are very easy to spot. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will catch you guys the next time I have a build. I need